Okay, so I just I just did my first video that I'm gonna upload on YouTube, and man, let me tell you something. That was kind of scary. Imagine you're talking to people all the time, but here you're doing a video, you're starting something different. Today is the day that I'm starting something different. I am starting something different. And what is that? I am actually getting inspired by others to do what I have to do for others, because somebody is waiting on you. And sometimes we don't understand that. But do you know that when you are called into ministry, and people get scared of the word ministry, but ministry just means that you're called to serve others. Serve means to help, to assist others into their journey. And you might say, but I don't know what to do. I don't have anything to. Do you have a story to share? Because all of us have stories to share, and the stories that you share is the things that you have been through. You don't have to tell people all your personal business, because I'm not into personal business sharing. I mean, I would share a little something, but I'm not really sharing my deepest thoughts, my family business and my family secrets and stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sharing your journey, because that's what I'm sharing. I'm sharing my journey of just life. And what is really life to me? Life means the things that I've gone through, my journey, the struggles, the heartaches, the pain. And one of the pains that I actually went through was actually divorce. Divorce was, to me, was like death. It was truly death. Even though I really, truly desired divorce, I really wanted a divorce. And the reason why I wanted the divorce was because the marriage was over way before I admitted that I needed divorce. Many times we are so afraid to say the D word. The D word is divorce. I hate divorce. I hated it. I hated everything that divorce stands for. I hate the name of it. I hate the sound of it when you say it. Because, and here's one of the things that it took me years before I told people that I was divorced. Because divorce for us as women comes with shame, failure, inadequacy, all of those things we sometimes feel when we are going through divorce or thinking of a divorce. We feel ashamed. We feel like, people are going to look at us different. And people do look at you different, especially when you have kids. I got divorced when my twin boys were 4 months old. We started going through the divorce process. And let me just tell you a little bit about that experience, how that was the most gruesome thing that I've ever been through. And if you are thinking about going through a divorce or have gone through it, but let me talk to you, if you are going through divorce, let me just talk to you about that for a minute. If you're thinking about the divorce, your life will change. Don't let anybody tell you that your life is not going to change if you are going to go through divorce. And especially if you have children or you have a child, you now have to see this other person living their life with your child or your children, and they may not be the best parent to co-parent with. But that's the bed that we made. We made those beds with those demons or people or whoever you call them, narcissists or great father, great husband. They're so great that we're divorcing them, right? But anyway, one of the worst things you can go through is knowing that you need a divorce, you want a divorce, and you have to divorce. And what does that mean, or what does that entail? Your life will change. Most times the life for the man doesn't change, but the life for you as a woman will change dramatically. You have to start your life all over. I have experienced sudden death in my family. My brother was murdered yesterday 4 years ago. And when I tell you that divorce and death are very similar, trust me on that. As much as you want it, it's going to be very difficult to go through, but you have to go through it. You're going to need friends. It's mentally, physically, and spiritually hard, but it's not something that you can do. You can do it. Hi, hello. But it was life-changing. You go through the same emotions that you go through when someone died. That's the same emotions that you go through when you get divorced, because they're both similar. Because the Bible talks about how, life and, till death do you part. But it's still death of the marriage, and death is death, right? Doesn't matter how you die, death is still death. A divorce is still a divorce, but they have the same thing. But you can get through it. We are not supposed to stay in abusive situations, right? You're staying in an abusive situation because you don't have the money. You've been beaten down so hard. You're so scared to leave. And you're terrified. You don't have the money. You don't have the funds. But take it from someone who actually had it all. I had the home. I had the mansion. I had the money. I had the finance. I had the credit cards. I had all of it. But at the end of the day, I wasn't happy. None of those things made me happy. I was miserable. Imagine living on Lake Michigan, Lakeshore Drive in Chicago, in this beautiful, just beautiful place. Overlooking Navy Pier, the Lakeshore Drive, and you're miserable. You hate going to bed at night, and you hate waking up, because you know what that looks like. When you wake up, you know what that looks like. You know what that feeling like. You wake up to death every single day. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And you shouldn't do it either. I'm not saying you need to get a divorce, but I'm just saying, what are your options? Do you want to live, or do you want to die? Because the longer you stay in those situations, you are dying. And when I got divorced, I realized that I had died 1,000 times over. Your self-esteem was in the toilet. Your self-esteem was pretty much in the toilet. You had no self-worth. You didn't even know anything about yourself. You have to retrain yourself all over again, You have to learn about yourself all over again and again and again and again and again. But there's life after it. There's life after divorce. You have to go through the emotions, and you have to get healed. I would encourage you to be, just to anyone who's going to do it or who has gone through it, to get healing before you go into another relationship. Mind you, I'm a little slow when it comes to that, because it's taken me 18 years. I've been divorced for 18 years now, and I'm just now in the mindset and the space that, you know what, I do want to be married again. I don't want to be alone anymore, right? And it's important that it's important, you see this guy is working here. It's important that you acknowledge that you need to be healed, and it's important that you acknowledge that you don't want to be alone, because I don't want to be alone. That was a very traumatic experience, and even though I would like to be married again, I am very cautious of who I will let in my life, right? I'm very, very cautious who I want even as friends, because I realized how hard it was for me to even, when I get divorced, those friends, they kind of disappeared. And you have to be careful too. But see, these are all things that we go through and allow us to be able to tell your story. Remember, we talked about telling the story at the very beginning? So tell your story. I'm telling mine. I'm going to share mine, because I don't want another woman to go through the things that I went through. And if I can help another woman to safeguard her way out of that relationship, or restore, or help to restore their relationship, or give him pointers in like, oh, you need to try that. Are you listening more? Are you a good listener? Because in order to be married, you have to be a good listener, right? Because when you listen, you'll hear what you need to hear. You will hear that the marriage is over. You will hear that he doesn't love you. You will hear that I'm seeing somebody else. But if you're so busy yapping and talking and fighting, and this is what a lot of people do, narcissists fight all the time, so it would take the attention off them, so you wouldn't understand or hear what's really going on. So sometimes we have to just do this, you know, to just be quiet, and God will show you a lot more. You will hear a lot more. You will see a lot more. So I encourage you today to just use your story to help other people. Maybe that's your gift. Maybe that's what God wants you to show and to help others with. That's the ministry of helping others to heal. And you got to use whatever he gave you. Because when you start using it, it's going to start to manifest in power and authority for you. So I hope this blesses you. We'll come back to this a lot more time. Okay? So have a blessed day. Be safe.